What's up, everybody? Jimi Diamond here for a special. We are doing a special video today, and this video is dedicated to JC. JC was this guy that I worked with at a detox center. He was a really good guy, family of 4 or 3. He worked a couple jobs, was in school, and he had died of a heart attack. We're going to get into why today's episode is dedicated to that man and a little bit into that. But just so you know, today's episode is dedicated to JC, this guy I worked with. I don't know his last name, but that's who it is. So yesterday when I was running group, this fucking kid comes up to me, and in the middle of group, he had asked me what my experience was like when I had quit smoking cigarettes. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about what was my experience smoking, the whole experience smoking cigarettes, from when did I start, why did I start, did I try to stop in the past? Had I had success with stopping? And ultimately, what had caused me to stop smoking cigarettes over all of this time? I had smoked cigarettes for about 13 years. Right now, I'm going to get some cigarette smoking statistics just so you have some real quick fast facts. Smoking leads to disease and disabilities and harms nearly every organ in the body. So, just to get started, I'm going to give you some crazy statistics, okay? This is directly from the CDC. Cigarette smoking remains the leading cause of preventable disease, disability, and death in the United States. So you may be saying, why talk about your experience smoking cigarettes? The reason that I'm talking about it is because hopefully somebody decides to quit smoking. And I'm starting with the hard facts. You know, it's really fucking difficult to avoid smoking. And I mean, you have to go out of your way to avoid, I don't mean, don't take that, I fucking said that wrong. You have to go out of your way to find information that says smoking is good. There's like an abundance of information that tells you smoking is bad, okay? And we're going to start with that. The tobacco industry spends billions of dollars each year marketing cigarettes. Smoking costs the United States hundreds of billions of dollars each year, and they're probably saying that due to medical expenses, hospital expenses, different things that people do to just, treat smoking and reinforce smoking and make smoking available in the public. That's probably why they spend so much money on it. States do not spend much of the money they get from tobacco taxes and lawsuits to prevent smoking and help smokers quit. The CDC recommends that the states spend 12% of those funds on tobacco control. Listen to this one. In 2019, 14% of all adults, 34 million people, currently smoked cigarettes. 15% of them men and 12% of them women. Now, I just skipped the points, but there's points in there if you fucking care to go do your own fucking research. But here I am doing it for you right now. Each day, about 1,600 youth try their first cigarette. Many adult cigarette smokers want to quit smoking. So 16 million Americans are living with diseases caused by smoking. For every person who dies because of smoking, at least 30 people live with a serious smoking-related issue. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, stroke, lung disease, diabetes, and chronic obstructive pulmonary, COPD, pulmonary disease, which includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Smoking also increases risk of tuberculosis, certain eye diseases, and problems of the immune system, including rheumatoid arthritis. Smoking is the leadest. Also, smoking is known to cause erectile dysfunction in males. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death, dude. That's huge. Worldwide, tobacco causes more than 7 million deaths per year if the pattern of smoking all over the globe doesn't change. More than 8 million people a year will die from disease related to tobacco use by 2030. Smoking cigarettes is responsible for more than 480 deaths per year in the United States, including more than 480,000 deaths per year in the United States, including more than 41,000 deaths resulting from secondhand smoke exposure. Damn. So, seems about 2% of those, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Those, about 500,000 deaths per year. 50,000 of those are, 40,000 of those are, secondhand smoke. That's fucking crazy. 1 in 5 deaths annually. Or 1,300 deaths every day. Smokers die 10 years earlier than non-smokers. Bro, I could go on and on. So it's got a lot of really good information here. Maybe I'll put some links up if you want, but that's part of the reason. So, okay, why? That's just some information to give you just to get you started. So, why did I decide to smoke? The real reason that I had decided to smoke, because I grew up just like everybody else knowing that smoking was bad. I didn't ever think that smoking was good. I always knew that I shouldn't be smoking. But I ended up smoking a cigarette because my sister had said, so I'm sitting there with my buddy Sean, or Baxter. I think I was with my buddy Baxter and my sister, and we were smoking pot in the basement of my parents' house. Must have been 13 years old. And my sister wanted to take a break from smoking weed to smoke a cigarette. And I was like, mad about that. I remember like, dude, I'm trying to smoke pot. I'm not trying to fucking sit here and wait for you to finish smoking your cigarette. I'm trying to fucking smoke pot. So long story short, she convinces me that I should smoke a cigarette because it'll get me higher after I smoke. So I smoke the cigarette. I look at my buddy. He says, yeah, we'll split one. So we split the cigarette. And turns out, yeah, I got higher. I was fucking higher on the weed, and I smoked more. Then I smoked another cigarette, and I ended up just smoking cigarettes after I smoked weed. And that was like the thing that I did. Me and my friends did that. And eventually, we started smoking weed at night. We started smoking cigarettes at night. We started smoking cigarettes when we would drink, when we would use other drugs. I noticed a correlation between smoking and drugs. Then I started smoking in the morning. I started smoking all the time. Eventually, I began to accept that I was a cigarette addict. You know what I mean? I was addicted to cigarettes. I literally accepted that. Me and my friends accepted it. We would go back and forth saying each other is an addict, and we would do all sorts of jazz. So that's kind of how I got started smoking cigarettes. I never looked at myself as being a long-term cigarette smoker. So I always had the idea that I was going to quit smoking cigarettes eventually in my mind. I just didn't know how I was going to do that or when I was going to do it. So I go to college, whatever. I go all the way to the point that I get sober. So I had tried to quit smoking cigarettes throughout with some success. But eventually, I think I went like 2 months without smoking a cigarette. In the summer was often when I chose to quit smoking cigarettes. Often because I was sweating so much. I didn't like sweating and smoking. It was nasty and it was hot. So that was kind of why I always quit smoking. Tried to quit smoking during the summer. And I would always start it back up. So finally, I get sober off drugs. And I'm trying to make the decision of whether or not I should smoke. I'm learning about addiction, actually. I'm in rehab. I'm learning about addiction. And then I actually made the decision, all right, I'm going to quit smoking cigarettes. And my therapist was like, well, don't do that. Why would you quit smoking cigarettes? That's so stupid. You should smoke because you're already kicking one addiction, and eventually just kick cigarettes when you're ready. You're not ready to kick all these addictions right now. Just focus on drugs and you can worry about the cigarettes later. So I said, yeah, that's cool. I'll do that. So I ended up smoking cigarettes. And I had the plan that once I got my like drug use under control, I would start working on quitting smoking cigarettes. I would always do a little research on how to quit smoking. And the number one thing that I saw was to start focusing on the negative effects. So I would always catch myself thinking of the negative effects of smoking. Oh, I'm smelling like it. Now I taste it. You know, whatever the negative effects were that I was from smoking, and that would keep me focused on that. So then I end up quitting. So I end up quitting, and I vape. So to me, that's Suboxone for cigarettes. And I'm vaping. I'm fucking smoking Cinnamon Toast Crunch vape, fucking strawberry cheesecake vape. If they had a goddamn barbecue rib vape, I would have been smoking that. If they had a McRib or a fucking Big Mac vape juice, I would have bought that and been smoking that shit. Bro, I was spending the same amount of money on the vape. I was smoking it just like a cigarette. And I thought I had it. I thought I had it under control. I thought I fucking was doing the right thing until finally one day I'm helping a buddy move a bunch of furniture. Me and my buddy actually quit at the same time. So I had a buddy, Jesse, and me and him quit at the same fucking time. And I had quit before him. A couple days later, I convinced him to quit. He quit. He had stayed quit, but I ended up relapsing on the cigarettes. And I was one day helping a buddy move, and my fucking vape ran out early in the day. I didn't have time to go get anything for it. So it was late at night, driving the U-Haul back from Delray Beach to Fort Lauderdale, and there was a pack of cigarettes just sitting there on the fucking mantle. I could have called Jesse. The thought came in of maybe I should call somebody to talk through this fucking cigarette craving, but I didn't, and I ended up smoking a fucking cigarette, and then I actually said, I'm just going to have one, that'll be it, and I ended up lighting that cigarette that I smoked. I ended up lighting another one with that one. So there was like 12 cigs in that pack. I finished them by the end of the night. So, I mean, direct correlation between, you know, trying to switch one drug for another. I'm not going to use nicotine this way. I'm going to use it this way. Still addicted to it. You know, the moment that I fucking hit that one cigarette, I was right off to the races. I ended up smoking cigarettes for a whole more year. Another year I ended up smoking cigarettes. Tried to quit one time after that. And this guy, I had quit. It had been no more than 24 hours. And I was working at Detox. And this guy, Baron, walks in. And he had a fucking carton of Marlboro Reds. He goes, man, they gave me Marlboro Reds. I wanted Marlboro Mediums. And I looked at him and I go, you fuck, dude. You motherfucker. You know I'm quitting, dude. And he's like, well, he asked me if I wanted a pack. And that's why I said that. And I fucking was mad at him. I blamed him for my relapse on cigarettes. I took the pack from him. Ended up smoking for a couple more months, and then this is the moment, okay? So that's just kind of like my journey through smoking. I never enjoyed it. It was exhausting. A couple times I had like a doctor tell me one time that he could hear me breathing. As soon as I walked in a room, I was in a room for 4 seconds. He's like, yo, I can hear you fucking breathing right now. That's fucking intense. And I'm like, bro, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, so... He's like, dude, if you don't fucking lose weight, stop smoking, and do all this shit, you're going to be dead. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm sober, aren't I? It was, oh, man, that was a heavy, I mean, I was in front of everybody when he said that. But anyways, so, finally, March 21st, 2018, I believe. I got to check my fucking thing. I end up going into work. So I'm working at a detox center, and I come into work, and I'm looking for my buddy. I'm asking about my buddy. His name was JC, and they said that JC had a heart attack at work, and he was rushed to the hospital, and he had died on his way to the hospital. And JC was a really good dude. He had worked several jobs. He worked the night shift at this detox center, and we would like pass ways, and I would relieve him, or he'd relieve me, or whatever, and we would smoke cigarettes together. He was always jacked up on caffeine, very stressed kind of lifestyle, and I was saddened by this. I had to watch the footage. I had to review the film, and as I'm reviewing the film, I'm watching him keel over, fucking fall to the side, struggle. He's like struggling to fucking breathe and shit. Horrifying, dude. It's fucking horrifying. You're watching this fucking man that you fucking know and spend time with die, and it fucking was intense. And I began thinking, what the fuck? How? I mean, that could happen to me. A heart attack? That could happen to anybody, dude. So I started looking up leading causes of heart attack, and they were saying that smoking is the leading preventable cause of heart attack and heart disease. So I wasn't comparing myself to him, but I found through comparing myself to him that, okay, I don't drink as much caffeine as he did. I don't have family. I'm not stressed out. But what do I have going on in my life that I can stop that could prevent this from happening? And it just so happened to be cigarettes. So now, that same day, I had to give a speech in front of like 40 of my clients about just some like fucking speech, dude. And I didn't want to fucking do it because I was emotional. It fucking hurt knowing this guy died. So anyways, let me get a drink of water real quick. I began doing all this research. And all the data I presented to you in the beginning, that shit don't change. Same shit I was reading fucking when I decided to quit smoking cigarettes. So I'm reading all this information, and I'm like, I can fucking do this, bro. Well, I kind of had the idea that I could do it, and if I was going to do it, a detox center would be the best place to do it. Maybe they could give me nicotine patches or something. So this is kind of sitting on my mind all day. I go home, and my buddy Bill comes over, and I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, and I started thinking about this feeling. So, willingness. It was a feeling. I had the feeling of, I could quit right now. And every single time I had that feeling of I could quit right now, like I could quit right now for life, I always had some fear or barrier that prevented me from quitting. So I'd always say, some excuse or something. I got 14 left, or I just bought this pack, or I got to go to work, or I got to eat this. I'm going to want to smoke after I eat, or I got this drive. There's always some excuse that caused me to keep on smoking until finally I had said, well, all those excuses are just keeping me killing myself. And every single time I hear stories of people quitting, they sacrifice that. They had given up the 14 cigarettes or whatever they did. So I'm sitting there smoking the cigarette. I'm like, well, what's stopping me from this being my last cigarette? And those were all the thoughts that came to my mind. And I'm like, well, what if this is? What if this is my last cigarette? And I kind of began accepting this to be my last cigarette. I kind of began admitting that this could be my last cigarette. It could be my last cigarette. And the only person who's going to choose whether or not this is my last cigarette is me. So I felt it. I was like, wow, this is that feeling that I've been waiting for, dude. This is that feeling that I had when I started vaping, but I chose to vape. This is that same fucking feeling that I had before Barron came in and brought those cigarettes. This is that same feeling, and some people die waiting for this feeling to come back. You know, a lot of people try to get clean and sober and shit, and they're like, I'm waiting to get clean, and they fucking die waiting to have that willingness to do the work to get clean. And here I am having the willingness to actually do the work to never smoke a cigarette again. And I had to not let anything get in the fucking way of that, so I also thought, I'm looking at my buddy Bill, and I'm like, what's he going to think, dude? What's my girl going to think? What are people going to think when I tell them I quit smoking cigarettes, dude? They're going to laugh at me. You know, I have work tomorrow and all this shit, and I started thinking about not what's preventing me from smoking, but I began thinking about, well, how can I do this? How can I make this work? And I said, well, tomorrow's work's going to suck. I could isolate myself all day. If I didn't have money or cigarettes, I would not smoke. So I could do that right now just to make it through the night. But tomorrow, how am I going to get through 8 hours of work? And I just said the same way I get through the 13 hours at home or the 14 hours at home. Just got to do the same thing at work. So if I did 14 hours before, I can do 8, and that's kind of how I imagined it. So I fucking had that. All I got to do is not smoke another cigarette tonight, and worry about work when I get to work. I don't got to worry about work and quitting then. I just got to worry about quitting right now and taking this action right now is the only fucking thing I need to worry about. So I looked at my buddy Bill and I said, yo, you want this fucking pack of cigarettes? And he laughed at me. He was like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're not quitting. I'm like, bro, I'm quitting. I'm done. Do you want these or not? He fucking took them from me and he smoked them. And that was it, bro. That was and I remember, like, halfway through the cigarette, I had made the decision that was going to be my last cigarette. And I just fucking held it in. Exhaled, and that was it, dude. And I downloaded an app, and the next day I went into the work. I was working at Detox, so I went to work the next day, got a patch put on my arm, didn't take the motherfucker off until the next day when I got another patch put on my arm. And I quit on a Wednesday, had a patch on Thursday, patch on Friday, no patch on the weekend, never went back. And dude, that's kind of the story of how I did. Then I also downloaded an app. So I downloaded this app called Smoke Free. Not sponsored by them. It's just an app that I use that helps me maintain my cigarette clean time. So it would show me how much money I was saving, how many cigarettes I've sat out on. It would show me the amount of time that I would have spent smoking that whole time. So say like a cigarette's like 3 minutes, they accumulate all the 3 minutes, and it's like you would have spent this amount of time just chain smoking. In order for you to smoke that many cigarettes, you would have to spend this much time, this much effort, this much money. It also helps show like how much your body's recovering and the timestamps on when your body is going to make a full recovery. So it's like in 24 hours you get your taste back, you get your smell back, your fucking lungs are clearing out, stuff like that. Fun fact, I smoked cigarettes for about 13 years, I think, and for me to make a full recovery, a full restoration, to have my lungs be as if they never smoked before, I have to have not smoked for over 16 years, dude. So that's the amount of damage that this does, and that's what the restoration process is going to look like. Some people are like, 16 years, I don't fucking got that, dude. Yeah, you fucking do. Or if you don't, then maybe you don't have 16. Maybe you only got 10. This dad is talking about getting decades off of our fucking life because of choosing to not fucking quit smoking cigarettes. My girl quit smoking cigarettes at the same time as me, and she picked up a Juul, and she still smokes that Juul. Sorry to throw you under the bus, babe, but she does, dude. I've seen people do that, bro. They fucking pick up the Juul. They pick up the vape. They fucking start doing I just fucking met this guy today talking about cigarettes. He's telling me that now he chews tobacco. Bro, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit, dude. So I encourage you guys to go to the CDC website, educate yourself on how to quit smoking cigarettes, on this data around cigarettes. If you are a cigarette smoker, reach out to us. There is help available. Attainable Dreams LLC at gmail.com. Comment below. What part of the story do you want me to go deeper in? I want to know what it was like for you to quit smoking cigarettes. Did you quit smoking cigarettes? Are you still smoking? What's some fucking cool things that you know about it? Anything you want to see, dude, comment below. Make sure you subscribe, like us, follow us, need all that stuff. Tell your friends about the page. I hope this video helps someone. And, dude, that's about it. I appreciate you guys coming out. Stay tuned for more. And, dude, fresh air. I'm breathing in fresh air today. So it is a fucking blessing. I hope you guys have a great day.